Alright everyone, now we have a little bit of a weird story here because this may be a fisherman's tale, but I'm actually inclined to believe it. MH370, Malaysia Airlines 370, disappeared back in 2014. Pilot appears to have gone crazy, been suicidal, something was going on. Anyway, I think they found flight simulators in there where he practiced ditching in the ocean, if I remember correctly. Is a weird case. You've got no closure on that, by the way. They don't know where the aircraft actually crashed down. The assumption is somewhere in the South Indian Ocean or off the coast of Australia. Now you have a fisherman who's saying that back in 2014, not long after the actual crash, he was out trawling for fish. He has his own boat and his little crew, and they set the nets down and they pulled up a chunk of aircraft that is part of a wing that was identified as being MH370. That he called it in once he got back on shore and said, look, I found a chunk of aircraft wing out there, you might want to check it out. And they told him, no, it's not an aircraft wing, it's part of a Russian shipping container, without actually having seen the object itself. That's a little sus now, ain't it? I will admit one thing. By 2014, a lot of people had smartphones, and digital cameras. I'm wondering why nobody snapped a pic of this. If this fisherman or any member of the crew has a picture of this and they want to put it out there, that would be a bombshell. And indeed, they probably would if they were just seeking fame or money. I can't understand why some old fisherman would, almost 10 years after the fact, decide to just make up a fish tale about finding a chunk of wing debris. And also, having gone on planes and having seen shipping containers, it's going to be kind of hard to mistake one for the other. They don't really look similar now, do they? I believe him. He was trawling, roughly in the zone where you would expect the debris. According to various projections, they've tried to retrace roughly where the flight would have dropped off. It's well within the debris zone. There's no personal money or anything to be made by this old retired fisherman, so, that's another thing. And also, they're claiming that the call was never posted. That is, the Australian authorities, when they were contacted about this, said, no, we don't have a record of such a call. Well, do you keep 9-year-old call records? I'm thinking that it might have been purged at some point. I'm thinking probably that call was lost or misfiled or something like that. It smells like a cover-up, and I think I know why. They probably don't want the families of Malaysiaairlines Flight 370 to know exactly what happened. They probably don't want to recover the black box. They probably don't want the possibility that it's not so corroded that you can still actually listen to the audio recordings from within the cockpit. I think that they would find that troublesome, and they're worried about legal problems. Possibly the Malaysian authorities, possibly Malaysia Airlines itself. I think that somebody is worried if the debris were recovered. By the way, there are ongoing efforts to try to find it. What I would suggest to this particular fisherman, get into contact with these people that are still trawling out there trying to search for the plane. Give them the rough coordinates of your special fishing spot, because apparently he had a secret spot where there was an abundance of some species of fish that he really liked. I don't know. Australians, they can't help it. It's probably a poisonous fish or something. I mean, it is Australia after all. Probably a fish that'll eat you alive or rip your skin off or, dissolves your body in a vat of acid when you try to eat it. In Australia. I would like to believe that the debris was found. What's a little bit creepy, though, is when we're talking about a 9-year-old call and they're saying that the call was never placed, and they claim that objectively. If his claim is true and they told him, don't worry about it, no, don't believe your eyes, it wasn't a piece of wing, it was a piece of probably a capsized Russian shipping container. That's a little bit specific now, isn't it? Assuming that's actually what happened, assuming that's actually what they told him. Little bit strange all around. I would like closure for the families of those that died, hundreds of them. This was a considerable aircraft. This was not some short haul. This was not an Embraer or something like that. This was a fully sized aircraft with a lot of people aboard, and they've never found it. I think if I remember correctly, a few years ago, a little chunk of debris washed up on an island somewhere, far away from the actual debris zone, and then they're scrambling to look for it more. That's probably just the result of tidal action more than anything else. I don't think that necessitates that the aircraft dropped in that particular zone. The original zone is probably correct, although, as with most disappearances, Look at fucking DB Cooper. The original zone was misestimated, and I think they shifted it west, if I remember correctly. Exactly the same as with DB Cooper when he jumped out of the plane. I've got my own thoughts about that I'll have to cover sometime. But if this debris was indeed found in 2014, so not long after the plane dropped in the ocean, which is presumptively what happened, that would smack of a cover-up, because, I mean, this was contemporary to ongoing larger-level searches for the aircraft, for the downed aircraft, and apparently they didn't take it seriously. But, keeping in mind, this hinges on the claim of one particular fisherman. So it could be true, it could be false, it could be a mix of the two. We're not 100% sure, but just a little bit of a creepy time to be had. That's about all. Peace out.